Now, the stakes are major here, both for her and potentially for the most threatening of the case against Donald Trump. Joining me now, Sarah Isgur, former spokesperson for the Department of Justice under President Trump, now an ABC News contributor, and Shan Wu, former federal prosecutor and former counsel to the Attorney General in the Clinton administration. All right, so Shan, let me start with you, because you don't think this is all that big a deal. Why?
I don't think it's that big of a deal for two reasons, and then let's focus on what the judge is having the hearing for. I just don't see how a case against the defendant can be tainted or prejudiced by the fact that two prosecutors are having an affair. I just don't see that at all. But what the judge is focusing on is the allegation that somehow the affair caused Fani Willis and or Nathan Wade to personally benefit from the relationship. Still, even there, a little bit attenuated as to how that taints the prosecution itself. But I see why the judge wants to make a record. It's an important case. He wants to have an evidentiary hearing about it. I think it'll be very hard to establish that there's some sort of personal benefit to her hiring him, as though she hired him because she wanted him to take her on vacations. I just think that doesn't really fly. But I see why the judge wants to have a hearing.
But here's the thing, Sarah. I'm not suggesting that the judge is going to dismiss the charges, right? That's what Donald Trump and his co-defendants want. He's not going to dismiss the charges because of this. The question is whether he's going to say Fani Willis should be off the case, whether he's going to say Nathan Wade should be off the case. Let me read you. This is what Michael Roman's lawyer said on how they, quote, enrich themselves in the case. This enrichment is in a form of self-dealing, which creates a personal interest. In other words, the more work that is done on the case, the more they get paid, the more they fight Mr. Roman's motions, the more they get paid, the more they refuse to dismiss defendants who should not be indicted, the more money they make. And of course, the more money the special prosecutor makes, the more money the district attorney gets to reap the financial benefits. These benefits are concrete, personal, and financial. I mean, look, it's a bit of a long shot connection, but it sure does look terrible to the point where a judge might simply say, this looks bad enough that in the interest of justice, this prosecutor or that prosecutor shouldn't be on the case.
I think that's right, but for two reasons. One, of course, if Roman's attorney can prove that, in fact, they had this relationship ahead of time and that basically she goes after Trump and all these co-defendants so that she can hire her boyfriend so that they basically double, triple, whatever their income, that's the financial impropriety. I think that will be the hardest thing to prove. But Fani Willis has created a new problem for herself. She filed, under penalty of perjury with the court, a statement that said they did not live together. Their relationship started after he was hired. She paid him the same as everyone else. Now, all they actually need to do is prove that any of her statements in that filing are false. And all of a sudden, she's in contempt of court. She's got an ethics problem with the bar. You don't lie to the judge.
Shan, would you agree with that assessment, that if the defense can prove that their relationship started before 2021, that now she's got additional problems?
She might have the additional problem of the court finding her not credible. The perjury aspect, I think, is a little bit of a long shot to have that broad. But I think the real problem here is going to be one for the defense to climb uphill, trying to prove that a, quote, relationship actually started before a certain time. I mean, if they're depending on his law partner, it's going to be like double hearsay on that. It's just his opinion that he thought the relationship started. So I think these are tough things to prove in courts.
Yeah, and that's true, Sarah, right? Like, what is going to be the evidence? I don't think he's going to be able to say, like, I saw them kissing, right? It's going to be more, right? It's going to be more suggestions than it is probably eyewitness account.
Well, let me give a more concrete example. For instance, in the filing, she said they did not live together beforehand. At least there's some insinuation that Roman's attorney does have some evidence that they cohabitated beforehand. Or, for instance, from the travel agent who booked them a single room before this case ever started, that would show some evidence of a relationship. And after you have 3 or 4 witnesses testifying to various things of that nature, the credibility starts to shift from one side to the other.
And Shan, just the fact that she may be called to testify would be a disaster for her, right?
That's absolutely a problem. I mean, prosecutors don't like to be witnesses. And, to your point, I think earlier, what people have been saying, that from the public relations, public image standpoint, it certainly is a distraction. I don't think there's a legal reason at this point for her to be disqualified or to recuse, but it's certainly something to consider for her, whether at a certain point she feels that this story is so much getting in the way of prosecuting the case that maybe it's better to step aside. She does have to consider that.
Shan, I mean, Sarah, I agree with Shan on disqualified. I'm not sure I agree with him on recused, though, meaning I think there's a real argument that she and or Nathan Wade should recuse themselves from this case, regardless of whether they should be disqualified.
I don't know. Look, we've said all of this, and obviously I think she does have a problem at this point, but there's a big if. The burden is still on Mike Roman's team to prove these facts. And I sort of understand if she's telling the truth. I don't think that I would step down and allow this to then be presumed to be true, which is what will happen if she does.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.